family, welcome to Q&A with Mommy Sika. So we've been talking about very delicate subject matter. We're gonna continue a little bit more. It has to do with poverty, a very, 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 very difficult subject. A very difficult subject. It is not an easy subject, and it's a subject that needs to be addressed with a little bit of compassion, but being also, what can I say, being also truthful, being candid but truthful, candid and truthful actually. Because it's important for us to realize that we live in a society with different stratification, okay, and each layer of society has its place. Society was designed like that. Not everybody is born with a silver spoon in the mouth. And as we all know, the ones that do are actually 1 or 2% in the whole wide world. So 98% of us are trying to grab the ladder. It's slippery. It's slippery. Some can even get to the first layer of the ladder. Others go all the way to the middle, and for some reason, that develop a slippery mechanism. I think it's a sweat in the hand, and they go back to the line, which means you can be rich today and poor tomorrow. There are people that are rich and they are living as if this is the end for them. And then time comes and they lose everything and they become poor. So what do? Do we pack them and throw them out of society? God forbid. They have the place in the society. Like I say on this platform, we welcome all confession, religious confession, but we do not shy away to confess who we are to please anybody. No, when we speak, we base our wisdom on the Bible. That's our anchor. That's our word of wisdom. That's where we go. So in the Bible, there is a parable that our Lord Jesus himself gave to us. The rich man and the poor. The poor was at his gate. His name was Lazarus. Funny, we know the name of the poor man, but the rich man was identified as the rich man. His crime was not that he was not a believer. No, because he found himself in Hades. And Lazarus was in the bosom of Moses, of Abraham, bosom of Abraham. Yeah. So he was asking Abraham to tell Lazarus to bring him something to drink. And he said, no, you can't cross here. There is two different worlds. Why? Because Lazarus, the poor man, was sitting at his gate with wounds all over his feet. Yeah, he did not care for Lazarus. He did not give him any food, any shelter, any care for any of his wounds. Lazarus' poor dog was licking his wounds to give him relief. So not caring for poor people will send us to hell. This is what this parable is telling us. This is an abomination to the Lord. However, what we are talking about here is a very difficult situation and condition. Poor people in poor communities are prone to having a lot of children. And it's a cause. Excuse my dog. So I was saying that poor people are around the world. Statistics show that they are prone to having a lot of children, and it's a reality. Now, the question we've been having is: should they have many children, or should they be conscious of a condition and refrain from having children, or only have one or two that they can care for? When China was evolving, when China decided to change the state of the economy, society, and everything that was going on, they imposed a number of children that the population was supposed to have. 1% of society is what is considered rich. 1 to 2% maximum around the world. 98% of it are the ones that are not considered rich. Okay? Yet in that group, we also have the below poverty group that we have to turn to assist to help. The below poverty group is the group that is in dire threat of extinction, meaning dying every day. Poverty is not only a social condition, it's literally a death threat, because poverty can cause. There are some women that die on the delivery table because their husband could not find 10,000 franc or naira or cedi to pay for the medical bill. There is a man of God who has a prayer platform, and there are great signs and wonders, and people come and give the testimony. There was a profound testimony of a young lady whose childhood friend, who's a Muslim, had a daughter and a wife who were always ill. But her daughter's illness turned to the worst, and they went to the hospital. It turns out that she died. died. So because they are Muslim, they had to bury that child right away. In order to do that, the hospital has to release the body to the father. But guess what? The care of that child costs 50,000 naira, if I'm not mistaken, or 60,000 naira. And he had 35, it was 60,000, I think. He had 35,000 he paid. So the balance of 25,000 naira is what he had to provide in order to receive the body of his dead child to go bury her. He said he called, he could not find anybody that he knew to give him the 25K, provided there is a caveat. The lady who knew him, who was convinced in a prayer closet that she was begging God for a miracle, prayed a prayer for him that if it's the will of God that that child dies, let him find somebody to give him 25,000 naira. But if it's not the will of God and that's not the plan of God, let him not find the 25,000 naira. But let's just put the prayer of a girl aside that she prayed because God needed to glorify himself to give him a miracle. That's why he could not find the 25K. But let me just start by saying this family man, this father and husband, that day could not have money to care for his child to the point the child died. Now the whole bill of the hospital was 60,000 naira. He only had 35,000 naira in his whole being, at home, in a bank, outside of a bank, in his secret part, in his unsecret part, front, left, behind, all only 35,000. What can we do? He was short 25,000. 25,000 naira that some young folk can use in one dinner, hanging out with a friend in a restaurant. They can put out 25,000. He could not find someone to give it to him. He did not have it. Let's not talk about not fine, because the not fine part, we credited it to the girl who prayed that he find not anyone to help him. But let's talk about he himself not having 60,000 naira, only having 35,000. People are suffering around the world. There is a dire fléau, like we say in French, a pandemic called poverty. A worldemic, pandemic is small, worldemic called poverty. Now, how do we do with our brothers and sisters that are below the poverty line? What we have compared to the people who have more than us, we are poor. But compared to others, we are rich. Other people are calling us rich, when other people are calling us poor. This is a reality in society. So what do we do? Go back to my suggestion, answering the question. Should poor people have children? We have to do a campaign. Politicians have to have a campaign to educate less privileged, below poverty line population about threat of not having a meal a day, the demise of a fetus not being fed once a day, the threat of a woman who is pregnant to be in ketosis. That is a 100% poison to her fetus. So let's do that. Another thing is to consider educating about reducing the number of children. We are not God. We cannot stand and say, oh no, you should not have 5 children. You should not have 10 children. No. We can't do that. But what we can do is to say, okay, when your wife is pregnant and she has nothing to eat, this is what happened to your baby. When your wife is pregnant, this is when you have to double your effort to bring food at home, to make money so that she can have food to eat. Proverbs 14:23 says, all hard work brings profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty. And I want to address something specific to my African brothers in Africa. There is an observation that I made throughout the years living here abroad. An observation. When I was back home, I was younger. It did not dawn on me as much as when I left. I saw it. It was going on then, but it did not dawn on me as much as when I left. What was that? Men sitting down in communities playing the game of my West African family, French speaking maybe. I know the game of Awale. It's a game that is known in the whole Akan kingdom, and I think even Dahomey kingdom too. So it bleed through Ghana, Ivory Coast, Togo, Benin, Dahomey, we're looking at even spreading a little bit into Nigeria, all of that. I know that game. It could be different name, but I know for a fact that Ghana and Ivory Coast kind of have the same name, Awale. Or game of Ludo. I don't know how it's called in other West African nations, but I know in Ivory Coast it's called Ludo. It has a square table like that with the glass on top, and it's got squares in the corners, and it has a dice and a little cup where the dice goes. You do like this, you play 6 or 3 or 1, and then you play. Men sit on this game from morning to evening, gisting, talking, and playing the game. From morning to evening, valuable men, I mean muscle men, I mean healthy men that can get up and go produce something. Hard work brings profit, which means if you are a farmer and you finish your seeding season and you're waiting for the crop to grow and to produce so that you can go and harvest. In this time, what are you doing? Be creative, create something. Even if it's selling sand, that's hard work. Gathering sand, put it on your head, go sell, that's hard work. It will bring profits. That's as if you are a farmer. A man should not have a downtime between two production, between two activities. You're waiting for one to pay, creating one, a third one in the middle. A man should not have an idle season. A man should be engaging productivity, being profitable in season and out of season. Even if you're not making millions, but you are making something. You are being profitable. Hard work, all hard work brings profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty. There are some communities where men gather, they are criticizing government, discussing politics, talking about the best player in Chelsea. Do those players know you? Are they paying your bills? No. But you're going to stay from morning to evening, talk about football or soccer, talk about basketball, talk about women, and the next catch in a neighborhood, somebody's child you're trying to pawn into your bed. Yet you are not profitable. Yet you are not productive. This kind of poverty should be sanctioned. This is the issue of Africa. This is the problem of Africa. I'm calling Africa government to issue a contravention, we call it in French, which means tickets. Go to neighborhood, men that are sitting down playing Ludo, playing checkers, playing all manner of game, awale, using up the whole day, not being productive, should receive a ticket. You're not producing. You're not being profitable. The only thing you're producing are children. No, you need to go into, every society is represented by all level of stratification. However, we can bring about a solution to poverty. It's not fair to the children. And these men, I'm not saying all of them are like that. For the most part, are in the neighborhood. They know all the young ladies that are growing in the neighborhood because they know the time the parents are at work. They know the time the child comes back from school. They know all of that because they are in the neighborhood not doing anything. That we shall take care of that issue. Politician, I'm talking to you. Yeah, you yourself have something to do with it because to become a politician, the malam has to tell you to rape a little 12-year-old girl, to defile a little boy so that you can be elected. So other people's children are the one that you're defiling. And poor people, this is what I'm talking about again. For the most part, they are the one that get abused. For the most part. Because some rich people's children go through that too. Because some of the witch doctors tell them to do that to their own children. That's how they're going to be reelected. That's another video. You see, where are we going, community? Me, I'm addressing the African nation, African government, African politicians. We are tired. We are tired. I'm asking you to come up with a campaign. Last time I was watching a video of the African nation in front of I don't know if it's a meeting of African nation or the G, whatever, that they sat down talking. This head of African nation, I didn't even bother to look to find out which president was that, was telling them that they come and promise money. They don't see the money. That even the president of Central Africa said the same thing, the dinner of the night before, that promises of milliards, they don't see the money, that they need infrastructure, they need to develop, they need, energy, I'm like, look at these people. You are waiting for white people to bring energy into your country. You are waiting for white people to bring infrastructure in your country. Do you have a brain? Are there engineers that went to school to become engineers in your country? Have you called your people to say, my fellow people, we need to build our country? Women, what can you do? Young men, what can you do? Old men, what can you do? We need to build a road from here to there. Let's start. We are Machete, we will build the road. How did they build this nation? Tell me, how did America build America? How did France build France when France started? Did they build it with what they had? Sure, they went to Africa to steal the gold and everything. They did that. Oh, yeah. They went to Africa. They stole from us. They stole from us. But how did they build it? They built it with the people they have at hand. Did they have the number of educated people? No. The people that they went to Africa to take into slavery in America. Were they PhDs? Were they master degrees? No. They used their muscle to build a railroad system. African politicians, use the muscle of your people to build your railroad system. Let's put together something. When the Lord went to get Moses, to commission Moses to go to deliver a whole nation of millions of people out of slavery, Egypt was a powerful nation. What did he ask Moses? What is in your hand? It was a staff. It was a piece of wood. Africa, what is in your hand? You have gold. You have diamond. You have emerald. You have more in your hand than what Moses had to go deliver the people from Egypt. Head of state, stop crying in front of white people. Stop begging for money. Because the money you're begging is not for the nation. It's for your pocket. Let's go back to our question. What do we do with our brethren that are poor? Let's have a campaign to help them, to break into the mind, break into the understanding. Let us push for them to have a breakthrough. I keep saying, and I said that a long time ago, Africa does not need another fundraising. It's true. I have a non-profit organization. By the way, consider contributing. I'm raising funds, but I will explain to you why I say that. Our mission is to get African women out of poverty from rural Africa to raise them into leadership. That's our mission. Why are we focusing on African women? Because when a woman has risen, a whole nation has risen. When a man is risen, it's only one man or even only one family. A woman that breaks through, she breaks through with a whole lot of people. Number two, women are subject to poverty because in Africa, women are believe they must marry. So no matter the condition of a person who comes to marry them, they cannot say no. Some cases, Muslim communities impose the children, the daughters, to marry poor men, and they give birth to deficient children, newborn, because they leave the pregnancies in famine and lack, in ketosis. So biologically, those kids, those fetuses are deficient. So we need to bring them out of poverty, help them to rise so that they can be empowered to make a decision for themselves, be in the society, be in their religion, be in the marital decision, family, all of that. They are empowered to make that decision. They can stand up to their parents and say, no, I'm not going with this culture. I decide to be a Muslim woman, but I'm not going with the culture of a Muslim woman accepted to be the fourth wife, entering in a deficiency setup already. Even if the Muslim man is a millionaire and he has 10 million, when he has a woman, his value becomes 5 million because now it's divided into two people. Now, that first woman gives birth to 4 children. That value is divided into 6 people now. He gets a second wife, that's 7 people. That second wife start having children. The same value is divided into the number of children. The third one is divided. The fourth one is divided. Imagine. So no matter how rich a Muslim man is, when he goes by the cultural principle of a Muslim of having 4 wives, that wealth is divided, shared into a whole community of people. Therefore, that household is no longer reflect the household of a very rich man, which is our reality in a lot of cases. So a Muslim woman, my Muslim sisters, I'm talking to you right now. I don't care if you are from whatever country of Africa. I'm talking to you. You are not going to go to hell if you get an education, you rise up, you personally from the poverty line as an individual, and then you decide that you will live above the poverty line and have your family above the poverty line. You are not going to go to hell because I don't know what your Quran tells you. And my Bible says poverty is a curse. So if you do something to not be poor, you're not going to be cursed. On the contrary, you will be able to help the poor and be blessed. So we're going to stop this session now. I want you to take that and digest. I want you to think about it. And I think we beat that subject black and blue. We're going to set it for now, and we're going to answer another question. But this is one that I think is worth having a live for. We will have our live session later. For now, we are doing a quick question for a quick answer. This one was a quick question for a long answer.